included, must really feel for him. He's come to a new club looking for his first goal, and now he's not going to play football for a couple of months.
Yeah, I've just seen him there, and I'm sure he's down about it, but he's not really showing that outwardly, and that's testament to the sort of character he is. And he'll still very much have his part to play in the dressing room and around the place. He's a cheery character, and we just wish him the speediest recovery that he can have. And I think he's due to see a specialist Wednesday, I think it is, where we'll find out a little bit more, whether it's definitive as in a definite time frame. I'm not quite sure, but as I said the other day, I think an absolute minimum of 2 months. Hopefully that's what it will be in the end, and getting back training and back playing. And
after the news about John Walters and Ellis last week, is your phone red hot with agents getting in touch and pushing forward free agents, that kind of thing?
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm aware of a couple, but realistically how many there are out there. So no, it hasn't been it's not like before the wind is shut, certainly. But we'll keep looking. Like I say, at the minute the priority is the game, and then arrangements ready for as long trip to Swansea. But these people are looking at things, and we'll be taking calls, etc., to see if there's anything that can help us along the way.
Obviously short up top, you've got a couple of strikers out on loan at the moment. Any thoughts of Aaron Drine and bringing him back from outside the Football League?
Not at the minute, in truth. We've like I say, got Caden, we've got Freddie. Admittedly not the similar types as what we've lost or as Aaron, but maybe it's a chance for them to have a run of games, certainly one of them, and then along the way, if nothing does change, it might be a case of giving a younger player an opportunity. So we'll see how the situation develops and how we're going, but certainly one thing is we don't want to suffer another injury in that department, so fingers crossed, we'll not get that.
Any other injuries in any departments? Miles wasn't available at the weekend, was he?
No, and I think it was due to train, but he's been out for a jog and isn't right, so I think it'll be the same squad with the exception of Matthew Pennington, who'll obviously miss out through suspension.
Clearly it wasn't the right game to bring Andre on at the weekend for his first appearance in a long time, but you're looking at getting some minutes into him in the near future?
Again, I think it depends how situations evolve. We just felt that, again, depending on how the game's panning out, it might be a good time to get him back involved. We know that he has the quality to perhaps pick that pass, keep the ball for us. So, like I said, it just felt like the right time. But I think to think he's going to play 90 minutes, we're not there yet. But still a boost, I think, for him personally and for the lads to get him back in the 18.
You seem to take more positives than negatives from Birmingham at the weekend. It was mental strength and character, a couple of those, because a lot of teams in your position might have crumbled to a 3-2 defeat with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think it was. I haven't watched all the game back, but I've certainly watched the first half there, and I have to say I think we played better than I thought on the day. I was after the first sort of 5 minutes where I said we started a little nervy, and Birmingham started the game well. We then started to pass the ball. I think the shape was there, so I was pleased with what I saw, and then certainly how I felt on the day was it wasn't all negative second half, despite the fact we lost the 2 goals and did have to soak up some pressure. I still think there were positive elements to the performance that I alluded to, and it's nice when maybe people not involved directly with us commenting and saying you don't look like a team that hasn't won a game of football, and hopefully that won't last too much longer. But it's hard for me because it always people always think you're looking for excuses or trying to deflect things, That's not the case. I do feel that the team put on a good performance and showed different characteristics within it.
And you almost have to remind the lads it wasn't a defeat after all. We did take our first point on the road from this game.
Yeah, it's a late start. I haven't seen too many of them just as yet, but I don't expect anyone coming in with the bottom lip on the floor or anything like that. I expect them to come in ready for training, ready for the next challenge, and we know that's going to be a tough one against high-flying Middlesbrough team. How
hard was it for you to watch on Saturday when the 2-0 lead slipped away? It must have been tough.
Yeah, you go through a lot of emotions stood on that touchline, but again, I didn't genuinely feel they scored the early goal despite us having a few attacks at the start of that second half, and then you know that you're going to be put under some pressure. But I didn't think that we were particularly playing badly. Again, never easy to do, but you have to give the opposition a bit of credit for how they were performing. But I didn't feel like it was, there was too much wrong to make the subs, and that's why, I didn't make them until much later in the game.
When you look at this Middlesbrough squad, how strong is it in the Championship, do you think?
You could argue it's the strongest. Maybe West Brom, possibly. It might again sound silly, but Stokes, when the teams that have come down naturally are going to be a bit stronger, and I think there's a lot of teams that are doing well, like your Leeds and your Brentfords, etc. But I think if you wanted to kind of put your money on a team, definitely going to be up there, I think you'd probably not go much wrong than say Middlesbrough. I think they like the sort of safest bet with the experience they've got and the squad, as you've said.
And the manager as well. How much respect have you got for Tony Pulis and what he's done in the game, in over 1,000 matches now as a manager?
Yes, I'm sure he's been through a few emotions, and he's got his way of playing, and it's not for everybody, but he's certainly got results over his career, and he's got a squad, like you said, he put together that squad, lots of quality, and a very physical side to play against, something we're going to have to try to stand up to if we're going to have any success from the game. So yeah, he's a top draw manager.
And somebody that you'll enjoy speaking to afterwards, maybe picking his brain over one or two things?
Yeah, possibly. It always depends. By the time I've finished speaking to you lot, there's sometimes the opposition of on the road, so it depends how quickly those interviews go.
How important to have a good start to maybe get on the front foot, get the crowd on side in this home game?
Yeah, that'd be the ideal, and I think away teams, you're always kind of guard against that. When we go to places, you expect the home team to be looking to get off to a good start. That would be, the ideal scenario for us. We certainly want the crowd to be involved on the evening. We've got to try and influence that ourselves by giving them something to shout about.
Lovely. Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
You used 25 players in the Championship this season, and 2 have a presence in Luke Chambers and Jonas Knudsen. How important have they been for you so far?
Yeah, their experience. Luke's obviously captain as well, and a big voice in the dressing room. So we need that experience. I think I've spoken about change, and I think people felt it was needed. I wanted to obviously put my own stamp on the squad and try and change things, but at the same time, those new lads need some help and guidance, and those two can certainly fit into that category. Along with probably Scousey and the keepers.
Around the training ground as well, they must be really useful, not just on the pitch in games, but just how to conduct yourself as a second-tier player, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I would say that the lads conduct themselves any different than what I would have my players in the past. Not when they're full time, certainly, but I think particularly again in Luke's case, I think when new players come through the door, he's kind of always on the scene, and to the point of just showing people where things are, explaining how things work, and speaking about the area. Been here some time now, and that's invaluable, and because sometimes it's nice to get that from staff, and we obviously try to help, but when one of your teammates is doing that as well, I think that's always helps bed players in that little bit sooner.
Is he good to go tomorrow night? He was down. It takes a lot to get Luke Chambers down, needing treatment in games. A bit of an awkward one.
Yeah, I think he's almost got his knee fallen on by the opposition's player, but he's, as far as I'm aware, I think it's a little bit of bruise and a bit sore, but as you kind of getting at there, I think it'll take more than that to keep him out of the game.
Obviously, those two battle-hardened Championship players. Middlesbrough's a full team of them. You look at that, I haven't done the maths, but there must be an awful lot of Championship appearances in that Middlesbrough side.
Yeah, probably same. I'm aware of who has been playing and looked at the games, watched them, without saying for definite. I'm struggling to think of too many that haven't got too much experience in there. So again, that's why I think they are a very safe bet to be in that top six, certainly, and perhaps one of the automatic places.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Unchanged for the first time at the weekend, I think, since you've been here, but 3 very tough games in 8 days. Ring the changes perhaps a little tomorrow? Possibly. I mean, that's still something giving some thought to have over the weekend. Also would like, you want some time to get a feel from the players themselves, see how they're feeling, whether that's through a chat or whether that's just observing them during training. But we can't name it the same again because of Matthew Pennington, so we definitely got one change, like you say, because the other thing that we have here is, and again it's not an excuse, it's just the way it is the travelling, and certainly coming to the weekend, and that journey, that is going to impact, and it'll impact how we prepare and kind of what work we put the lads through. So the things to take into consideration, certainly. And obviously, as we keep mentioning, still no win. What's your message to fans about sort of keep the faith, presumably, because you obviously see it as not far away. Yeah,
and it's, I think we've the same points as Millwall, but they've had victories where they've obviously suffered more defeats, and above Preston currently, who have had a victory. I guess it doesn't matter in some ways where the points come from, but if you're going to get enough points in the end, we know that you do have to win games. But for the second week running, we've got a result and moved up a place. Now, as I've said before, it's kind of tiny steps, but we want that to try and continue. And it doesn't get much tougher than the game tomorrow night, but at the same time, it's a game that we've got to look forward to and enjoy that challenge that it poses on national TV as well. I'm hoping that can inspire us that little bit more to try and get that. But the fans, from what I witness, have been great, and were again yet again on Saturday. A bit of humour in some of the chants as well. So it's good that they've still got that to them and cheering the players on, because you always need that, and it's a long, hard season. I'm sure that we'll be able to give them some good moments along the way.
You mentioned a couple of younger strikers. Jack Lancaster has done very well. I think the 23 is probably a bit younger than Aaron Ryan and people like that. Is he one to come into your thoughts replacing the squad at the moment with the lack of available strikers?
Possibly. He's certainly been bright since I joined the football club. I think every time I've watched him, he's done something. It's not always been over, the course of the game, but he's always had moments. He's scored a couple of goals. I mentioned before, we give him the pro contract, and he's got something about him that is very likeable, as well as some quality on the pitch. So that might be someone. He'll play for the 23s today, but he's certainly, he's not off the radar, that's for sure.
23s, any significant senior players involved in that today?
No, not with a schedule. I think we've got Danny Rowe and Jordan Roberts playing. Danny was ill last week, so I think he needs a game, and Jordan, I think for where he's at this moment in time, that's the best thing, is getting him some more minutes out on the pitch.
And Emir is not ready.
No, Emir and Teddy aren't fit. Tom's not fit. So I said it's the same squad realistically, with the exception of Matt through suspension that we had at the weekend.
And you mentioned Aaron Ryan. Can you actually recall him from that though, or is it due to wait till January?
No, I think with Aaron's we can, I think. But there's a few out on loan. Like I say, I don't know if it really comes to it. I think that's the best course of action, and that's what we'll look at. But at the minute, while we haven't got tons of options, I want to try and really focus on what we have got, and hopefully we can get performances out of them and the team to help us get the results we want.
Cheers, lads. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.